Shalom, everybody. Let's read 2 Samuel chapter 2. And I am reading from Yah Scriptures. And it came to be afterwards that David inquired of the Most High, saying, Do I go up to any of the cities of Judah or Yehudah? And the Most High said to him, Go up. And David said, Where should I go? And he said, To Hebron. And David went up there, as well as his two wives, Abinoam the Israelitess, and Abigail, the widow of Nabal the Carmelite. And David brought up the men who were with him, each man with his household, and they dwelt in the cities of Hebron. And the men of Yehudah or Judah came and anointed David sovereign over the house of Judah there. They also reported to David, saying, The men of Jabesh Gilead are those who buried Saul. David then sent messengers to the men of Jabesh Gilead and said to them, You are Baruch, that means blessed, of the Most High. You have shown this kindness to your master, to Shaul, that you buried him. And now the Most High show kindness and truth to you. And I am also going to do you good, because you have done this deed. And now let your hands be strengthened and be brave, for your master Saul is dead, and also the house of Judah has anointed me king over them. And Abner, son of Ner, commander of the army of Saul, took Ishbosheth, the son of Saul, and brought him over to Mahanaim, and appointed him to reign over Gilead, and over the Asherites, and over Yisrael, and over Ephraim, and over Benjamin, and over Yasharel. Ishbosheth, son of Saul, was 40 years old when he began to reign over Yasharel, and he reigned 2 years. Only the house of Judah followed David. And the time that David was king in Hebron over the house of Judah was 7 years and 6 months. And Abner, son of Ner, and the servants of Ishbosheth, son of Saul, went out from Mahanaim to Gibeon. And Joab, son of Zeruiah, and the servants of David went out and met them by the pool of Gibeon. And they sat down, one on one side of the pool, the other on the other side. And Abner said, Let the young men now rise and compete before us. And Joab said, Let them rise. And they rose and went over by number, 12 from Benjamin, followers of Ishbosheth, son of Saul, and 12 from the servants of David. And each one grasped his opponent by the head and thrust the sword through its opponent's side, and they fell down together. So that place was called the Field of Sharp Swords, which is in Gibeon. And the battle was fierce that day, and Abner and the men of Yasharel were smitten before the servants of David. There were 3 sons of Zeruiah there, Joab, Abishai, and Abishai, or Asahel. Joab, Abishai, and Asahel. And Asahel was light on his feet and one of the gazelles in the field. And Asahel pursued Abner, and going, he did not turn aside to the right or to the left from following Abner. And Abner looked behind him and said, Are you Asahel? And he answered, I am. And Abner said to him, Turn aside to your right hand or to your left, lay hold on one of the young men, take his armor for yourself. But Asahel would not turn aside from following him. And Abner again said to Asahel, Turn aside from following me. Why would I smite you to the ground? How then could I face your brother Joab? But he refused to turn aside, and Abner smote him with the blunt end of the spear into the stomach, so that the spear came out of his back. And he fell down there and died on the spot. And it came to be that as many as came to the place where Asahel fell down and died stood still. And Joab and Abishai pursued Abner, and the sun was going down, and they came to the hill of Ammah, which overlooks Giah by the way of the wilderness of Gibeon. And the children of Benjamin gathered together behind Abner, and became a single company. and took their stand on top of a hill. Abner called to Joab, and said, "Should the sword devour forever? Do you not know that it is bitter in the later end? And when you are going And when are you going to say to the people to turn back from pursuing their brothers?" And Joab said, "As Elohim lives, if you had not spoken, then all of the people would have given up pursuing their brothers only the next morning." Joab then blew a ram's horn, and all of the people halted and pursued Yasharel no further, nor did they fight any more. And Abner and his men went on all that night through the desert plain, and passed over the garden, and went through all Bithron, and they came to Mahanaim. And Joab turned back from pursuing Abner, and when he had gathered all the people together, there were missing of David's servant 19 men, and Asahel. But the servants of David had smitten of Benjamin and Abner's men 360 men who died. And they brought Asahel and buried him in his father's tomb, which was in Bethlehem. And Joab and his men went all night, and they came to Hebron at daybreak. Hallelujah. Reading scripture can be so challenging sometimes because there is just a lot of names that, it's surprising as you're coming across them. Like, it's so hard to pronounce. Just try the best you can. Hallelujah. Let's read chapter 3. And the fighting between the house of Saul and the house of David was long and drawn out, and David continued to strengthen, but the house of Saul continued to weaken. But he refused to turn aside, and sons were born to David in Hebron. And his firstborn was Amnon by Abinoam the Israelitess, and his second was Kilev by Abigail, the widow of Nabal the Carmelite. And the third, Absalom, son of Maacah, the daughter of Talmai, king of Geshur. And the fourth was Adoniah, son of Haggith. And the fifth was Shephatiah, son of Abital. And the sixth was Yethream by David's wife, Eglah. These were born to David in Hebron. David had a lot of wives. And it came to be, while there was fighting between the house of Saul and the house of David, that Abner was strengthening himself in the house of Saul. Saul had a concubine whose name was Rizpah, daughter of Aiah. And Ishbosheth said to Abner, "Why have you gone into my father's concubine?" And Abner was very displeased at the words of Ishbosheth, and said, "Am I a dog's head that belongs to Judah? I show kindness to the house of Saul your father, to his brothers and his friends today. I have not let you fall into the hand of David, and you charge me today with a wickedness concerning this woman." Elohim does so to Abner, and more also, if I do not do for David as the Most High sworn, to cause the reign to pass over from the house of Saul, and to raise up from the throne of David over Yasharel and over Judah, from Dan to Beersheba. And he was unable to answer Abner another word, because he feared him. Abner sent messengers on his behalf to David, saying, "Whose is this land? And also make your covenant with me, and see that my hand is with you, to bring all of Yasharel to you." David said, "Good, I make a covenant with you. Only one matter I am asking. You do not see my face, unless you first bring Michal, the daughter of Saul, when you come to see my face." David sent messengers to Ishbosheth, son of Saul, saying, "Give me my wife Michal." to whom I became engaged for 100 foreskins of the Pelethites. And Ishbosheth sent and took her from her husband, from Paltiel, son of Laish. But her husband went with her to Bahurim, going on and weeping behind her. And Abner said to him, Go and turn back. So he turned back. And Abner had a word with the elders of Yasharel, saying, In time past, you were seeking for David to be king over you. Now do it, for the Most High has spoken of David, saying, By the hand of my servant David, I save my people Yasharel from the hand of the Pelethites and the hand of their armies, or their enemy, all their enemies. And Abner also spoke to the hearing of Benjamin. Abner also went to speak in the hearing of David in Hebron all that seemed good. All that seemed good to Israel, and all of the house of Benjamin. And Abner and 20 men with him came to David at Hebron, and David made a feast for Abner and the men who were with him. Abner said to David, Let me arise and go. Gather all of Yasharel to my master the king. Let them make a covenant with you, and you shall reign over all of that your being desires. And David sent Abner away, and he went in peace. See, the servants of David and Joab came in from a raid and brought much spoil with them. But Abner was not with David in Hebron, for he had sent him away. He had gone in peace. And Joab and all of the army that was with him came, and they reported to Joab, saying, Abner, son of Ner, came to the king, and he sent him away, and he has gone in peace. And Joab went to the sovereign and said, What have you done? See, Abner has come with you. Why is it that you sent him away? Has he already gone? You know that Abner, son of Ner, came to deceive you, to know you're going out and you're coming in, to know all that you're doing. Joab then left David, and he sent his messengers after Abner, who brought him back from the well of Sirah. But David did not know it. Thus Abner returned to Hebron, and Joab took him aside into the gate to speak with him privately, and there struck him in the stomach, so that he died, for the blood of Asahel, his brother. And when David heard it, he said, My kingdom and I are guiltless before you, Most High, forever of the blood of Abner, son of Ner. Let it rest on the head of Joab and on his father's house. Let there never fail to be in the house of Joab one who has a discharge, or is a leper who leans on a staff, or falls by the sword, or who lacks bread. So Joab and Abishai, his brother, slew Abner, because he had killed their brother Asahel at Gibeon in the battle. David said to Joab and to all of the people who were with him, Tear your garments and gird yourselves with sackcloth, and mourn for Abner. And King David followed the coffin, and they buried Abner in Hebron. And the king lifted up his voice and wept at the grave of Abner. And all of the people wept. And the sovereign sang in lament over Abner and said, Should Abner die as a fool dies? Your hands were not bound, nor your feet put into shackles. As one falls before sons of evil, so you fell. And all the people wept over him again. And all the people came to cause David to eat food while it was still day. But David swore, saying, Elohim, do so to me, and more also, if I taste bread or whatever else till the sun goes down. And all the people took note of it, and it was good in their eyes, since whatever the sovereign did was good in the eyes of all the people. And all the people and all of Israel, Yasharel, knew that day that it had not been the king's intent to kill Abner, son of Ner. The sovereign or king also said to his servants, Do you not know that a prince has a great one, and a great one has fallen in Yashrael today? And I am weak today, though anointed sovereign, though anointed king, really. And these men, the sons of Syria, are too harsh for me. Let the Most High repay the evildoer according to his evil,